Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our comprehensive news bulletin, our political, economic, business and sports segments. My name is Nermeen Abdurrahman and I have all the pleasure to have with me my dear colleague Ahmed Nader. Hello, Ahmed.
Hello, Nermeen. The pleasure is all mine. We will be starting straight away with the main headlines from the world of politics. Stay tuned.
I'm back. The details. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expats Badr Abdelati urged Israel and Hamas to implement ceasefire agreement in Gaza without delay. Abdelati called for an immediate start to the truce and stressed the need for the parties to adhere to its provisions and work to implement its stages on the specified dates. In statements to reporters, the minister said the agreement was possible with the active participation of Egypt, Qatar and U.S. mediators, along with a team from the upcoming U.S. administration.
Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati said that the humanitarian aid should be flocked into the Gaza Strip on a large scale and across the territory in the upcoming phase to address the suffering of Palestinians. Over a phone call that he received from the Italian counterpart Antonio Tajani, the foreign minister discussed the ceasefire and the prisoners exchange deal to end the 50-month Israeli war in Gaza. The top diplomat stressed the imperative need to implement the deal's provisions in their due dates and the importance of the concerted international efforts to launch early recovery projects in preparation for the reconstruction. The Italian foreign minister hailed the strenuous efforts by Egypt to reach the deal.
Still with our top diplomat, Abdelati, who stressed Egypt's attached a great importance to the speedy and accurate implementation of all the stipulations of the Gaza ceasefire deal without delay. The remarks were made over a phone call with his Iranian counterpart, Abbas Araghchi. Araghchi hailed the Egyptian efforts exerted to reach the deal. The call also tackled the developments in the Red Sea and the repercussions of the disturbances on navigation safety over the previous year. Abdelati expressed hope that the ceasefire in Gaza leads to restoration of stability and calm in the Red Sea.
In line with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's directives, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Health and Population, Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, chaired a meeting with his ministry's top officials over boosting the health support to the Palestinian people. The meeting discussed the health and medical system across northern Sinai and neighboring governorates amid the ongoing preparations to reopen the Rafah border crossing with the Gaza Strip following the announcement of a ceasefire in the Strip. The minister said that the hospital beds and medical teams are increased and intensive care capacities enhanced across El Arish, Bi'r al-Abd and Sheikh Zuwayed hospitals.
Meanwhile, Israeli Security Cabinet met Friday to vote on a Gaza ceasefire and prisoners release deal. If approved, the agreement would halt Israeli bombardment in Gaza's deadliest ever genocide war and initiate on Sunday the release of dozens of hostages held in the territory and the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump said that the Gaza ceasefire and the hostage release agreement should be implemented before he takes office on January the 20th. Trump said in an interview that the agreement followed intensified efforts from his own team, adding that if he was not involved in this deal, it would never, ever have happened. The ceasefire should go into effect on Sunday at the earliest, just before Trump's presidential inauguration on Monday.
G7 leaders called the ceasefire deal in Gaza a significant development and urged Israel and Hamas to work on its full implementation. Leaders also called on parties to engage constructively in its next phases of talks to help ensure its full implementation and a permanent end to all hostilities. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said it was imperative that the ceasefire removes the significant security and political obstacles to deliver aid across Gaza so that they can support a major increase in urgent life-saving humanitarian support. This came as top UN humanitarian official for Gaza, Sigrid Kaag, met with senior Israeli and Palestinian officials in recent days to discuss how to increase aid after a ceasefire agreement. CAG's meetings focused on trying to overcome challenges to deliveries that could remain even after the deal, including Israeli restrictions on access to Gaza, road damage, unexplored ordnance, fuel shortages, and the lack of telecommunications equipment.
2 days ahead of the Gaza deal taking effect, 9 Palestinians were killed due to the continuous Israeli bombardment in central and southern Gaza. The Gaza Civil Defense Agency said that Israel pounded several areas of the territory after the deal was announced on Wednesday, killing more than 103 people and wounding hundreds since then. The Israeli military said it had hit about 100 targets across Gaza over the past 2 days. Hamas warned that the Israeli strikes were risking the lives of hostages due to be freed under the deal.
French President Emmanuel Macron meets his Lebanese counterpart in Beirut on Friday to offer his support as Lebanon's leaders seek to open a new chapter in their country's turbulent history. After more than 2 years of a political vacuum at the top, Joseph Aoun was elected president on January 9th and chose Nawaf Salam as prime minister designate. Macron's visit aims to help Aoun and Salam to consolidate Lebanon's sovereignty, ensure its prosperity, and maintain its unity. Macron is also expected to meet UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in the Lebanese capital as January 26th deadline to fully implement an Israeli-Hezbollah ceasefire deal approaches. UN Secretary General Guterres arrived earlier in Lebanon on a visit of solidarity after a long-stalled presidential election and a devastating war between Hezbollah and Israel. Guterres said a window has opened for a new era of institutional stability with a state fully able to protect its citizens and a system that would allow the tremendous potential of the Lebanese people to flourish.
The European Union Crisis Management Chief Hajj Al-Habib announced a €235 million aid package for Syria and the neighboring countries during the first visit by a senior European Union official since Bashar al-Assad's ouster. The EU official said that this shows the commitment of the European Union to stand by the people, adding that their funding will contribute to basic needs like shelter, food, clean water, sanitation, healthcare, education, and the emergencies, among others. Al-Habib added that they are a turning point and the decisions that will be taken in the coming days and months will be crucial.
Qatar's Prime Minister vowed to support the rehabilitation of Syria's infrastructure devastated by nearly 14 years of civil war during his first visit to Damascus. Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman bin Jasim al-Thani added that Qatar will provide the necessary technical support to make the needed infrastructure operational again and provide support to the electricity sector. He said at a joint press conference with the Syrian leader Ahmed al-Shara that the agreement includes supplying power with a capacity of 200 megawatts and gradually increasing production. Shara said his authorities were counting on the support of Qatar to help stop Israel from making any further advances into Syrian territory, highlighting that Israel's army should return to where it was before.
Ukraine said that it had launched a missile strike 1 day earlier on the western Belgorod region, targeting the air defense systems and damaging the military radars. Kyiv has stepped up the cross-border drone and missile attacks on the Russian territory and said this week it had launched the largest barrage of the war on military sites and energy installations over the border. There was no immediate response from Moscow to the claims. Kyiv added that the air defense systems had shot down 33 Russian drones over 11 Ukrainian regions at night.
Minister of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation Dr. Raniel Mashat witnessed the signing of a $230 million agreement with Japan to boost the budget and empower the private sector. And Mashat said the agreement to reflect the historic partnership between Egypt and Japan, expressing hope to increase future cooperation in the fields of artificial intelligence and human development. She added that the agreement is part of a comprehensive finance plan from other development partners to support the state's economic reform program.
Oil prices eased today despite the uncertainty over a ceasefire deal between the Israeli Occupation Authority and Hamas. West Texas Intermediate fell 1.8% at $77.27 per barrel, and the Brent North Sea crude was also down 1.7% to $80.67 per barrel. Earlier, the crude futures had won strong support since the announcement of fresh US-UK sanctions on the Russian energy sector, and the mid-fears Trump will ramp up the measures against key producer Iran. And this brings us to the end of Panorama News, and we will be awaiting the news coverage with you, Nirmeen.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Right you are, right after the short break, we are going to return back with more. Stay tuned only on Mal TV International, always for more.